what do you do if he wants to go outside all the time, and then when he goes outside, he just farts around not doing anything, and then as soon as he come back inside to start the show, he's got to go outside again? That's what we're dealing with tonight. I call it indecisiveness of this puppy. And now he's really laying into me the whole idea that I never take him outside. And he just came in from outside. And he was just standing there sniffing the moon or whatever he does. So having some real issues tonight. Some real stress. All right. We'll see if he falls asleep or if he's going to give me the... well, maybe he's falling asleep. All right, he might fall asleep. We might be able to get on with the show. All right, tonight is the Daily Gun Show, episode 1487. This is season 8, depending on how you want to count things, which means we've been doing this show since early 2016. And in early 2016, I don't think either one of us, me or Bob, who is from Canada, who's a Canadian. I'll admit it. We started this show. It's an international show with a Canadian. And neither one of us knew how far it would go or where it would go and all the things that would happen. And we're now this many years later, this 1,487 episodes later. And it's season 8. I'm trying to figure out what to do with season 8. We've done a couple of different things along the way. See, he's not real happy. He's had a real attitude this afternoon. He ate a lot of food. He's got a lot of food in him right now. That's what I'm thinking. Earlier, I didn't want to talk about it. In our previous chat, we talked about it. I found these drugs. He had these drugs. See, now he's acting like I don't know what those are. He had these drugs. All right. Yeah, and he got up again. I guess by putting them drugs on him, he didn't like it. He got up again. All right, we're going back to presenting this screen. We'll get out of here. Nobody wants to see this dog anyway. I've been told putting dogs on the internet, bad idea. Not good for content. I wonder why I can't send super chats on here. Appreciate it. Thanks for the intent. We're streaming on 2 different channels, so what I will do is post a link to the other channel, and you can do super chats on the other channel, but it turns out the big YouTube channel violated some number of somethings, to be not necessarily determined. Number of violations caused the channel to be demonetized, so we can no longer accept super chats on the big channel, unfortunately. So appreciate the goodwill, but we don't have that opportunity anymore. All right, we talked to Bob just the other day, and hopefully Bob will join us one of these nights. I keep sending him links, not every single night, but every once in a while. I'll have the monitor going here. Puppy is essentially being stubborn, right? Let's do a quick update before we get into all this gun show stuff that we're going to be talking about. The puppy has eaten a lot of food today. He's pretty much full of food right now. It's a big food bag right now. He ate a lot of food, and he's probably regretting it to some extent. He begged to go outside in the end of barbecue show. He had to go outside. We went outside. He peed a little bit, but all he did is sniff the moon and stand there and look at me like, why are we outside? Right? And then we come back inside, and then immediately he's got to go back outside again. So I said, I got to start the show. All these people are expecting a show. And now he's sitting here looking at me. He's giving me the stink eye. So that's the update. We're sitting here trying to figure out if he's going to fall asleep, if he's being cranky, if he's going to start pooping everywhere. We don't know. So crazy, unpredictable adventure of having this puppy laying around. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go take a look at Minuteman University tonight. We do the show live. I don't script the show. You might not be able to tell, but I don't script the show. Go live every night, 1,500 episodes, coming up on 1,500 episodes. And like I say, I've done some things for some amount of time where we did things in a pattern, or we did things throughout the week different ways. But right now we're kind of just figuring out the new way to take season 8 here. You know, one of the problems with this portion of the year is the show starts at 10 p.m. There we go. Puppy just decided to go to sleep. Update on the puppy. He's going to sleepy. So I got a good another hour or so before he has to go outside again. There's your puppy. All right. So I also kicked my microphone over here. So now we bring the microphone back over here. All right. So in an effort to do something different with the show tonight, why don't we take a look at, does this work? I got the microphone kind of above my head. Does that work? Give me some feedback on the audio. YouTube is doing what they do all the time, which is exist. They're very large, and it's not realistic to expect a very large entity to be able to deal individually with individuals, right? So I'm running my channel since 2009, and it's got, I don't know, somewhere more than 5,000 videos on it. So it's definitely possible that I've got videos that violate whatever their deal is, and they can't build a system that incorporates a channel with the scope of mine, with videos that have been posted over the years to incorporate with all the other ways that a channel could exist. So it's frustrating, but I stopped short of saying that YouTube is out to get us or that it's YouTube's fault. YouTube is attempting to exist on the internet in 2023, and we use the largest search engine on the internet for free. So I appreciate what it is, and I understand that difficult things require effort. So I'll stop short of saying they're out to get us or that they ought to. It's going to be frustrating, but it's an opportunity to change the channel. Nothing stays the same forever, so I can change the channel around. And I do appreciate the Patreons. There's a link at the bottom of the page. The reason I'm also not too stressed is because the monetization on YouTube is a couple of $100. I'm not going to lie, it's not insignificant. That pays a lot of bills. It's actually kind of tough to pay bills without a couple of $100 there. But the Patreon makes it possible for us to keep doing this stuff. It's not like we're wealthy or making money. We still got to do things constantly to pay the bills, but it's not dire, and we'll be able to offset in capitalism in 2023. We'll be able to offset a couple of $100 a month. So again, I appreciate the concern and the wishes or the what's the word there? What you're saying, but it's not. I'm not going to complain about YouTube too hard. We get a lot of use out of YouTube. YouTube's been very good to a lot of people. It's just not perfect. I'd be scared if it was perfect. Triggerfish is out there. Good afternoon. Good evening. And I don't know if anybody else is out there. We'll never know unless you say something. You know what would be neat is if we could make a bigger version of the thumbnail down here. Some people, I would imagine, would like a bigger version of the puppy cam, even though, you know, we've literally been lectured about not putting puppies on the internet. But I feel like that's not a big enough picture-in-a-picture of the puppy down here. Oh, intense? No, that wasn't what I was looking at. But it was similar. All right, so let's get over to the Minuteman University project. Here's how the origin of this went. Did I write this anywhere? Let me see if I wrote this anywhere. Under About Us? No, I haven't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type it into my new phone. Where's my new phone? Oh, shit. Huh. Where's the phone at? Where did you put the phone? Did you sell it for drugs? What did you do to the phone? Huh. Where did I put the phone? Oh, I must have jammed it in the van somewhere. Is it jammed in the van? Where did you put the phone? He won't tell me. Look at him. He's giving me the stink eye. Huh. All right. Well, I guess. Huh. Where's my phone? What's going on? Weird. I guess I just haven't needed it all day. Is it in my pockets? No. Is it in this? No. All right. I don't know where that phone is. I'm going to try using this old phone. Been using this one all day long, so it probably won't work. Are you doing the 5G? No, I don't have the 5Gs. Right now I have, will it tell me? Data usage, networks, mobile networks. Yeah, I can't tell. Anyway, kind of getting lost. I'm looking at my phone here. So anyhow, what was I going to do? I was going to attempt to say the origin story of Minuteman here, but I don't know if it'll work on this old phone. It's not that good. So I'm going to hit compose. I'm essentially using this phone to be a dictating robot. We'll go down to, well, we'll just type in something there so that it sends to me. And then the topic is minute. And you, and then we will attempt to have it just record what gets said here. So Minuteman University started in 2015 after attending the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Phoenix that year. I became the social media director for the Arizona Citizens Defense League. I should say I volunteered free of charge to be the media director for the Arizona Citizens Defense League, which is a state organization for the Arizona, which fights for good legislation and fights against bad legislation focused on firearms and individual freedom. It's run by a group of dedicated, retired lobbyists and activists who coordinated an organization of grassroots efforts throughout the state's relatively few areas of population to have great success in these areas of law, such as constitutional, the second state to have constitutional carry after Vermont and Alaska, which led the way for the constitutional carry movement. They've also created interesting chess moves or blocks for bad legislation, which prohibited some of the things that happen in Nevada, Washington, and Oregon from happening in Arizona. So I had a lot of respect and interest in doing a good job as the social media representative or coordinator for the Arizona Citizens Defense League. In 2015, I was a large YouTube channel. A few years earlier, I was literally one of the largest YouTube channels. The era from 2013 to 2015 had a lot of growth and flux and change and awareness in the YouTube gun community. So the opportunity to work for Arizona Citizens Defense League was more than interesting for me. I was looking forward to being able to use my abilities and resources as an online content creator for the organization that had done so good for the state of Arizona, and then, you know, consequently led the way for some other states to lead by, or to follow their lead. Unfortunately, when I started to work with them, I discovered pretty quickly that these guys were not interested in social media, the internet, or doing much more than existing online. Their work was really in life, in real life, going to gun shows, meeting people, fundraising by handshakes, and being very effective at that. And then going to lobby in real life in Phoenix regularly. And they had no interest in recording that online. And I had very little effectiveness, or I had very little luck trying to persuade them or talk them into archiving anything. They certainly didn't want to brag about anything, and that's what they considered any documentation. They thought it was bragging, I think. So anyway, I decided that the best I could do was not push it. So, not wanting to leave it there, I decided to approach Charles Heller, a friend of mine, and one of the founding members of the organization, the media director, or whatever you'd call the person who's in charge of the public relations for the organization. And we met in his living room with some other guy, and we talked about what could be done within the parameters of what I have to reset my phone here because it's stupid robot can only do so much listening, I guess. So we sat in his living room and we decided what could be done that was within the realm of what they wanted or what they were willing to let be done under the name of Arizona Citizens Defense League. Some things were their personal preference or their what they'd rather do. And then some things were parameters put on them by the state legally. Like they can't, if they're a lobbying organization, I don't think they can educate. They had to create a second organization in order to do education. And that's something to do with the technicality of taxes or laws or something. So once I discovered that what I was good at was not, they weren't interested in the things I was good at, I decided to go do things that I was good at for them without, I guess, their name on it, right? So one of the projects was Minuteman University. And while Charles thought it was a good idea, he wasn't able or interested in putting the Arizona Citizens Defense League brand on it. Well, that didn't stop me from buying it and setting it up. And at the time in 2015, we had a very active group of content creators and participants in online projects and people that would attend real life rallies and events. And that group was called Gun Channels. So when we started the Minuteman University project, we had a pretty decent infrastructure of participants to help do the research, to help understand the depth of the project, and to assist with its creation. So it was the Minuteman University project was seeded or started with an effort to offer resource to the Arizona Citizens Defense League, but then sort of almost immediately became its own entity with those origins to offer skills and resources for activists and advocates. So people that care about our rights and people that like to do something about that passion. All right, so that's a not short way of describing some of the origin of the Minuteman University project. And now I put that in my email to myself. And I'll just hit send. And now I'll just send that to myself. And now I have this robot telephone listened to everything I just said there and turned it into words. And then that was in an email. And then I sent that email to myself. And now I can literally go over here to my computer, open up my own email, and then copy and paste everything I just said there into the About Us page of the Minuteman University project. So that's one way, and I'll probably edit it a little bit, but that's one way to create a portion of a website. Just say stuff to a robot phone in front of a dog that's sleeping. See how comfortably he's sleeping now that he's done being fussy? All right, well, so that's the beginning of the Minuteman University project. So it's been since 2015. We're recording this in 2023. So it's something like 7 or 8 years of messing with it. It's probably changed a little bit over that time, but because there's so many other websites that are out there that I've built or that are part of this whole like effort, it hasn't changed too much. Its goal has always been to be for the activists. Now, I know that the activist, quote unquote, has changed over the years. In 2010, when I really started understanding that some people were in this, some people are here to experience, some people are here to observe, and some people are here to exploit. There's probably other couple of people, but most of the time, those are the couple of people that are here. So after a while of seeing the cause and effect or the cycle or the comings and goings of the types of people that are in our community, started to be very clear that activists, people that are interested in what the Second Amendment protects, people that are interested in what firearms mean to the society, to the culture, to the community, to the country, to the industry, whatever, those people are, they have a lifespan, I guess. Their interest has a lifespan. So, I mean, I don't know, people like me here talking about this maybe, but you'll get interested in this, something will spark an interest, you'll become part of the scene, and then at some point something's like, whatever, or something comes up, something suddenly comes up, whatever, and then people aren't around. So some people it lasts for a long time, some people it's a lifetime, but some people it's not. So one of the frustrations, I think, is that it's not easy, it's not obvious, there's not paths that are already beaten. So as activists, people that are advocates, aside from going to a rally, there was very little options for people. And I saw that frustration in 2010 when we were just existing and experiencing it all. And then after some persecution and some harassment after 2012 and then into 13, and then that grassroots resistance to the infringements and to the abuse and the awareness that the community had, and then just all of that led to, in 2015, to this idea that advocates could use some help. And that's what I guess I'm getting at, is I knew from the beginning that this was supposed to educate advocates. I just didn't necessarily know to what scale or in which way. But the goal was to offer coaching and resources to advocates, people that are on our side, that are Minutemen, people that are just going to pick up and do so that they can accomplish and then just put it down and move on with their lives. These aren't people that are going to be career whatever. So along that path, I've discovered at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major players who have been competent and creative and put real actual effort into doing similar projects, empowering advocates with resources, skill sets, knowledge, and in some inspiration, and maybe even some encouragement. Kind of vague because 1, 2 of them are losers and they're actually cancers. They just come around and suggest this kind of stuff and then catch a bunch of people's attention. I don't know what they're doing it for. They're both rich, so I don't know why they do it. Maybe they get money off it. I don't think so. I think they're both rich. So maybe they just do it for their jollies or whatever. Maybe they seriously think they're helping, but then just don't care when they walk away and leave everybody hanging. So there's a couple of them that are not worth anything. There's a couple of them that have been doing awesome, like super good work. Like I would just tell you who they are, except I'd also be explaining who the other losers are. So not. And then a couple of them, actually, they all fall into those 2 categories now that I think about it. So there's been some people that have done some stuff, and there's some people that'll come along and say they're going to do some stuff. But do any of them have anything written down? No. Like I can't even show you one that has stuff written down. So what we get as far as resources that are permanent, resources that are available, resources that are posted and accessible, I don't know of any. If you know of any, let me know. Now, there might be some projects that have happened that aren't long-term projects that have been on national radar that I've been able to discover or research and find. But if there are, I haven't found them because I usually attempt to keep an eye out for people that are doing the similar concept, the similar thing. So anyhow, we've got this Minuteman University concept that kind of was born in Charles Heller's living room one time in 2015. It would have been late 2015 because it was after gun rights policy, and I would have been hot to trot after being frustrated with everything else that was going on. And yeah, it was frustrating to be like basically throwing water on me and like, nah, we don't really want to do any of that stuff. It's cool what you do. Thanks for offering to do it, but we're good. Thanks. So I continued to be their social media guy for the next 7 years for free. Never even considered charging them a dime because I wasn't doing anything. And now I got asked to resign in 2022. So let's say the Minuteman University project isn't there, so it still exists, and we have been working on it since. I attempted to contact 3 of the people on the list that I just mentioned, and all of them are, well, one of them still doing good stuff, but he just never followed through on this end of it that I'm aware of. And the other 2 are some of the bad people in the community, and they suggested they were going to make kits or resources available, at least, some kind of guidelines or directions to how to be an activist, or some suggestions at least on how to be an activist. They always alluded to it, and maybe they put stuff on Facebook, amazing things on Facebook that for some reason I'm missing, but they never followed through putting them on their websites ever. So I can't link to that, and that aspect of it, the skills, is lacking, and it's not my forte. I know that it's necessary, and I know that we're going to be better off when we are skilled as Minutemen, right? Like not just in the rifle part of it or in the abilities part of it, but in the knowledge part of it, and the being able to utilize the resources that are available here. But what we have done at Minuteman University over the years is assembled a pretty impressive assortment of resources, or assembly of links to things. So if you look down the website here, you've got the title at the top of every page and the byline, skills and resources for Second Amendment advocates and 2A activists. That gives me a couple of keywords right away, but it also really explains what we're doing here. We're offering two things, skill set and then resources. So knowledge and how do you apply that knowledge, what to do and why to do it. And then for advocates, people that care, and activists, people that are doing something about it, because both are important and both need resources if they want to be better at it, or at least when they want to be better at it, the resources should be available for them, right? That's the goal. Then we've got the main page here where I try to explain that. Since if I'm not sitting here explaining it, the words have to do that. So it's a place to learn and share information and skills for getting our Second Amendment messages out there. Be a better Second Amendment advocate. And that's basically a keyword thing. Trying to add more keywords, and somebody might type that into a search engine. And if they did, look, they get that site, that site, that site, that site, that site, and all these other sites before they get this site. So that's one of the reasons you put keywords in there. But there we are, maybe middle of the second page of search results. Anyway, next up is some visual representation of what we're trying to accomplish here. It was also, what, 19, 20, 19? I can't remember what year I attempted to put most of the stuff in this website into a publication so that it could be picked up and put on a shelf. And that's actually super difficult and took a long time to even arrange. And then it turns out that good 90% of everything we're talking about slightly changes every year. So assembling it all into a publication is one thing, but then every year it has to be edited and updated. That becomes a lot of, something that I have not yet been able to accomplish. So at least this was the beginnings of that. And then, of course, once the resources are the history, the extent of the community, and the depth of the things that we need to deal with as a gun owner in the United States in 2023. Once that stuff, those resources are all listed, then how to apply that knowledge. Once the knowledge is there, or at least put down so that it can be discovered if, effectively if necessary, how do you apply that? And that's what the skills handbook would be. I don't know if I can even write that. That's something that I'd be happy to have someone who's interested in that element of it create something that uses the references that we've created here over the years. But maybe it will be something we pursue. Everything in here has pretty much been done as a workshop over the years, going to the AMCON, which is the Alternative Media Conference at the Gun Rights Policy Conference each year. After going to that and really wishing that they would do that get together of Second Amendment activists on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, I decided to start on a weekly basis, inviting everybody in the Second Amendment community that might be interested to do some workshops. And the result of those workshops was a lot of this website, some of the other websites, but mostly it went into this website. And you can see there's some illustrations that we created in order to have some consistent imagery on the website. A lot of it is just some of these little weird graphics that indicate court cases or import bans or some of the good things, some of the pro-rights legislation that had happened over the years. Taking that data, those images, those illustrations, that insight, and then arranging it into infographics is something else that we've done over the years. So this website is both a place to put a lot of the projects that we've worked on, but also the reason we've created a lot of the projects, to fill in the shelves or to fill in the elements to this project. So the skills are easy to go through. I'll just kind of go through them real quickly. We've got creating content. and communication. Now, there's probably a lot more to develop over there, but in the beginning, just to have something, we wanted to have some inspiration and some insight as to how to create things online, building online projects, creating a website, having live conversations, funding your projects, photography, using social media, and then software. Again, there's probably more we could get into, and we've certainly had in-depth conversations on all these and more. Right now on Tuesdays, Clover Tech and I have been doing some conversations focused on this kind of stuff, but this is in some respects universal to anybody who wants to create content on anything. So motorcycles or guitars or pet turtles. But when you start talking about gun content, it gets a little specific because of people's impression of our property or our rights, right? So sometimes you have terms of service issues, sometimes you just have policy issues, and sometimes you have monetization issues like we talked about earlier. Okay, so the skills part of it is under development and is fairly limited because it's under development, it hasn't been built. The resource size is also being built, but it's much more elaborate. We divide it pretty much up into our history. Let's go down over here. We got our laws. We got what it's like to own a firearm, what it's like to carry, what it's like to buy and now make. And then the lobby, the gun owners' rights lobby, which is vast. And then the industry, which is also pretty vast. And I just clicked on that, which I probably shouldn't have. And then some history, and then some elements of some realms of the industry, shooting sports and manufacturers and hunters and collectors and things like that. I'm not going to be able to go into too much more of it. I've been blabbing for a while here. So we'll see if we're getting any kind of feedback. Doesn't look like we're getting any. The dog is definitely asleep. And the goal was really to talk about Minuteman University. And yeah, like I say, if we got a lot of conversation or a lot of back and forth, I might have kept going a little bit. But with the dog snoring and not really any live feedback happening, I think we'll end up wrapping this thing up. Plus, it looks like my internet's going bad. So it's possible that I'm not even seeing a live version of what's happening out there if there's some kind of lag. Let's just blame it on the lag. Let's blame it on Nancy Pelosi. And let's blame it on the fact that politicians are allowed to stock trade on things that nobody else even knows what's happening yet. Maybe we should blame Coach. And again, nobody's really saying much, so I'm challenging or I'm suggesting that most people are probably sleeping or driving or something else. So that's given us plenty of time. The last comment was 20 minutes ago. Thinking everybody's gone for the night. We'll wrap this one up. If you listened this long, we appreciate it. If you're a Patreon, give us some feedback. Let us know some directions. Like I say, we've been working on the what to do with season 8 over here. I guess since we're in here, I'll drop a link to the robot sewing machine project we've got going on over on the Indiegogo platform. This will be our 37th project over here. Over the years, we've raised almost $80,000. We're attempting to raise another $7,000 this time in order to grab a robot, kind of like what you see on the screen there, a 15 needle, 15 thread color, I guess, sewing machine for embroidery, and that can do hats or shirts or other things. But what we're going to be doing with it primarily is making patches. So we can take a design, digitize it, turn it into the type of file that the robot uses, and then program that file into the robot, get everything set up, and then have the robot create embroidered patches. So if that's something you'd be interested in seeing us be able to do, then check out this project. It's the whole month of February, so we've got another 20 days. We're up to 16 people participating, passing 10% of the goal at this point, just a few days into it. And There's a couple of different things you can grab. I'm going to be adding hats. I forgot to do that. So I'll be adding some hats as perks. But essentially, we're going to go to California. If we raise the money for this thing, we're going to go to California. We're going to buy the robot from our friends Alan Anchor. We are going to get an opportunity to see it work. They're going to show us how they use it and how it works and stuff. Then we'll take it all apart. We'll put it in the van and drag it back here to Arizona. We'll set it all up fancy and then start kicking out projects out of it. Hats and patches and whatnot. And the people that participate in the project, the Indiegogo campaign, are going to be getting the first stuff out of it. We're going to be doing a PVC patch that's already unlocked. So we're doing a PVC patch run. It'll be something with the puppies. We've been designing some patch designs for the puppies here. We'll let the people that are participating in the project vote on which of the puppy designs they'd rather see. And then eventually we'll have enough participation, the 140 people, something like that. We've already got 16, so another 120 something people on board, and we've got a new robot to the mix. All right, well, again, thanks everybody for joining us. In the future, since it seems like everybody joining us live is asleep, we're going to run a commercial for the Gear website store. We grab stuff from the store. We're sending out all kinds of free loot. That was a great SHOT Show for patches this year. And we've got a whole bunch of them to give out for free Patch Friday stuff. Pretty much every order that's going out from the store now is going to be getting free stuff. And on Friday, it's even more free stuff.